I wanted to tighten the truss rod a little bit because there was some bow in the fretboard when the strings were on, even though they weren't really quite up to pitch. So I took off the truss rod cover and discovered this interesting fitting for the truss rod. It's a slotted head, but because of the angle of the peg head and the length of the pocket, it's really pretty impossible to get a screwdriver to fit exactly into that head. I fiddled around and I did get it to turn a little bit. I also, when I was at a certain point, I got stuck with the screwdriver and I had to use a file and get it in both sides of the slot. So I was able to tighten the truss rod ultimately. It was quite loose, but I wonder if there wasn't some specialty tool that was supposed to be used for this. Of course, I don't have that tool, so this should be okay. I don't see any more bow in the neck when I put the straight edge on it. There was a little bit before, even without the strings on. So I think that's as good as it's going to get. I'm going to just real quickly check the frets to make sure they're level. I can see where some of them have been flattened out a little bit in the past. That's no doubt because it looks like the fretboard had lifted a little bit and somebody worked some glue into it. So there was, I'm sure, a small hump there. Same thing on this side. And to offset the effect of the hump in the fretboard, they ground down these frets a little. I'm not going to do a major fret job on this, but I am going to see if they're at least close to level. A lot of unevenness in these frets. Well, that seems to have hit most of them. A bit more up here. Okay, well, now I guess I'll have to recrown some of these. A couple of them, like number 16 there, and number 9 got pretty flattened. And following the filing, I'll do a quick polish with 320 grit paper and 400 grit. And that'll take the filing scratches out. Finally, I'll use a Scotch-Brite pad. that's a pretty quick fret dressing. I'll put some oil on this board because it looks pretty old and dried up. Yuck. Alright, I'll let that soak in for a while and give it another quick buff, and then I can put the neck back onto the body and see if I've got that shim at the right thickness. Tight. So now put the bridge back there. Put my straight edge on the D string. Yeah, that's where I want it to be. I've got the bridge lowered all the way, and the straight edge at the 12th fret is a 32nd of an inch off of the fretboard. So that, of course, is going to be way too low for playing, but it gives me a lot of room to adjust the bridge upward. So I guess I'll string it up now. Okay, so it's strung up. I adjusted the bridge. The action at the 12th fret on the bass string is under 80 thousandths. I'd say it's barely over 70 thousandths. And the 12th fret treble string is at 60 thousandths. So that's as low as anybody can reasonably expect. The bridge can still be adjusted downward a little bit on the treble side. The bass side is pretty close to bottomed out, but I just can't imagine anyone wanting the action any lower than that. That's lower than I generally set up electric guitars. So now I guess I'll just plug it in and see if the pickups work. I don't have a good feeling about them because it's so old, but one thing at a time. Well, happy day. Everything seems to work in one position or another. So I guess I'm done with this guitar. Well, that's a pretty quick drop off on the volume control, but I guess that's how it was designed. Okay, thanks for watching. The Egmond solid body guitar. Didn't really keep track. Took me 2 or 3 hours probably to do all the stuff I needed to do on it, but I think it's going to play a lot better. Well, I know it'll play a lot better than it did. So hopefully somebody will be very happy with it.